I don't take nothing that a doctor don't prescribe. I just take Paxil, Xanax, Zoloft, Flomax, morphine, Valtrex, Flonase, Plavix, codeine, Zyrtec, Zoma, Zantac, Ultram, Zocor, Zipro, Prozac, dopamine, Demerol, Lexapro, Tylenol, Vicodin, Lyrica, Lipitor, and Adderall, but I don't do no.
Well, Jill, thank you so much for doing this.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I always like to start with this question. What symptoms were you struggling with before you started searching for something like the total gut job?
Heartburn, indigestion were the main symptoms. Also was bloated, but the indigestion and heartburn got so bad that I would drink water and it felt like my chest was on fire. And it was miserable. So much so that my husband convinced me that I might be having a heart attack. So I went to the emergency room. And they quickly ruled out that I was not. And that began the whole journey with seeking doctors and then a gastroenterologist. And we did all the tests.
Yeah.
The MRIs, the CAT scans, the whatever.
MRI. You even had an
Well,
MRI?
I did, because in the CAT scan, they found other things. I'm sorry, not a CAT scan, ultrasound. They did an ultrasound. They found something in the ultrasound that was questionable, that wasn't even really related to the problem I was having, but they wanted to figure it out in the mix of all of this. It ended up being fine. There was a cyst on my liver that was pretty significant, but it's fine. And then they went and did the nuclear test, whatever that was. They did,
yeah.
Yes, they did that. And then my gallbladder was only functioning at like 19%. And I'm like, okay, so what now? And the surgeon that I talked to, he said, I will remove it, but I want you to know that it may not fix every one of your symptoms. It may give you some relief. At that point, I was so desperate to feel just a little bit better that I said, okay. Without really, again, I was desperate. I didn't know what I didn't know. What I know now, I probably wouldn't have went that route, but they can't put it back in. So here we are. So I went and we did it. I mean, we did it pretty quick. I did get some relief. But it wasn't 100%. And so I've been watching you for a long time. I've been on a health journey, probably, I don't know, 8-9 years. But you do this, you do that. It gives you a little bit of relief. You do this, you do that. And you're like, I don't know. And so I was like, you know what? I told my husband, I was like, I really don't care how much this cost. I'm doing it. And so he was like, okay. So I reached out and I talked to your husband. And at that point, I had just had my gallbladder taken out. I mean, within not very long. And he said, this is the perfect time to, now that it's out, let's get it. Let's do some things. And that began my whole journey of really feeling better and really getting to know my body. Again, I didn't know what I didn't know.
I know. I mean, and you're not alone. I've been in that situation too. If I'd known what I've known, 20 years ago, I'd never had my colon, removed. But that's all I had. That's the only people that were guiding me at that time.
Right.
And so, whatever, it's been okay. I've learned how to, deal with it. And honestly, I'm doing a lot better than I thought I would ever do with only having 18 inches of colon. Thank you, Lord. So, you got your gallbladder removed. My goodness, they love removing those things.
They absolutely do.
It's not necessary. Like your gallbladder is just like, oh, you don't need it,
Yes. Well, and like I said, my surgeon, he wasn't just like, hey, let's go ahead and take it out. He was very informative and
sounds like it. Sounds like he did.
It wasn't like, hey, this is going to fix all be all. I mean, he was very, but like I said, at that point, I was so desperate to just get just a little bit of relief. I mean, with the gastroenterologist, with the insurance company, They had given me a prescription medicine that worked. Another, what are they? The
PPIs.
uh, Yep. I was on 40 milligrams of this stuff. And then all of a sudden they gave me the sample, and all of a sudden the insurance is like, oh, we're not going to pay for that. And it's like $400 per month to get it. And I was like, what do you mean you're not going to pay for it? They wanted me to try 3 different ones for at least a month at a time. And I was like, okay, I have a few choice words for you people, but I'm going to, keep this PG.
Yeah.
And, it was very frustrating because now the insurance company, and my gastroenterologist told me, he said, the insurance company is going to dictate how this works. He said, I'm no longer a doctor. I just have to listen to what the insurance company
He's a middleman. Yeah, they've become
He is.
middlemen. Yeah.
And it's sad. It's really sad on how, how it works. And, so I went through all of this and I said, I am so done. I was on blood pressure medication. I was on 40 milligrams of Prilosec, and I was popping Tums like it was candy. And I was like, something's got to give. Something has to give here. I mean, water's not supposed to flare up your
Right?
it's not supposed to.
Yeah.
I'm healthy. My husband says I'm like the healthiest person he knows. And what I tried to explain to him is I may be healthy now, but the damage has been done from years of neglect and not knowing what I didn't know when I was a baby. I swear this goes all the way back to when I was an infant, because I had stomach issues when I was an infant.
Me too.
And so this, I feel like, reverts all the way back. And I'm 43 years old. So I may be doing good things now, but the damage is already there. So I got to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we do timelines on our patients, is because there's just, so I always ask about tell me about your childhood, what was going on back then? Because you start picking up a lot of red flags,
Yes. 100%. And I also had spinal meningitis when I was a baby.
Yeah. Okay. So lots of antibiotics.
I mean, my poor dad, he tells me stories of, I was on prescription formula. I mean, I was the firstborn. So my mom had written all the notes down on me. So there was a lot of things that I went through as an infant, small child, that I have that information, which is nice, but it's like, goodness, I've been dealing with this for my whole life.
Yeah. Me and you both. But our parents were doing what they thought they had to do. That's exactly.
They knew that they did what they knew.
Right.
So
it sounds like these symptoms were really impacting your life.
Yes, I was to the point where I wasn't sleeping. I was grumpy because I wasn't getting any sleep. I couldn't lay down. Eating was hard. There was a point where I was eating very basic, just minimum food, just bland food. I was looking up, okay, well, if I have GERD, well, what can I eat with GERD? Well, that's very basic, very not fun. But in all of this, I really had to learn, you have to shift your mindset.
Yes.
You really have to look at food. Our society food is, social. Yeah. And although that's not a bad thing, but we really need to look at it as our body. We need to fuel our body.
Yeah.
And we need to eat for an intention. And so I've really learned through doing my own research and then doing the total gut job. I've really learned my body and what it likes and what it don't like.
Yeah. That's one of the goals of the program, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
And your body can respond to foods differently at different stages in your life as well, depending on what's just going on with you physiologically and your gut microbiome. So, you kind of touched on the things that you had tried prior to the total gut job. You played around with your diet, right? Eating a bland diet, medications, even had your gallbladder removed, bless your heart, and so none of those things were panning out, wasn't helping, right? And so
a little bit. A little bit,
but, right? And we'll take a little bit, but still, it's bad. When when you heard about the total gut job, were there concerns? Did you have reservations about it?
Um, Really and honestly, I was excited. I was like, not that it was a miracle worker by no means, but I was like, something about this is different. And I was a little bit nervous. I did it in the middle of summer last year, is when I did it. I was like, I mean, there's no good time to do this. So I'm just
It
gonna,
really
I'm just gonna
isn't.
buckle down and do it. And so I did. And it was one of those that, again, I was nervous. I was like, oh, I don't, not about it, but just how am I going to manage to do this? I mean, I have two small children in the middle of summer. Like, what am I doing? But I'm like, no, I can't wait until school starts, because then you got all the things. It's just like
Right.
there's no good time. So um
You did
I
it
just
though.
like, let's just dive in. That
And
was my attitude.
was it as hard as you thought it was going to be?
No, I will say the first week was probably the
Yeah.
hardest.
Getting
I
in the
may have
groove.
shed,
Yeah.
yes, I
Good.
shed a few tears just out of, uh, just doing, it was new. It was
Yeah.
very new, and it was intense, until you get the groove of it. But no, once I got into probably week 2 or 3, I was like, I got this. I mean, I miss certain things,
Yeah.
but I don't miss what it does to
Yeah.
me.
So
Um,
you started feeling, so how long did it take before you started noticing improvements with your heartburn?
Really, it probably wasn't until week 3.
Okay.
And then it was slow. And I did the full 4 weeks
Elimination.
of it. I probably could have done it a little bit longer, but I was anxious to see, okay, what is this going to do? I was nervous about adding stuff back in, and I was excited.
Yeah.
But so I went the full 40 weeks. 40 weeks,
No
four
place.
weeks.
Yeah.
Lord, that'd have been a long
Yeah.
time.
That'd been a lot. Yeah. A lot of foundation shake.
4 weeks, and I wrote a lot of notes. I took my blood pressure, multiple times a day. I took really, really good notes through the whole thing, because I wanted to revert back to, okay, what was I doing? What was going on that day?
Yes.
Why would my blood pressure have spiked that day? Why would, did I sleep really good? So um, I
Started making
really took a
connections.
I did. And I will tell you, I went camping while I was doing this, and I stuck to the whole thing. My kids wanted to go
How did
camping.
you do that? That's
I
awesome.
know I did a lot of prep work, a lot of prep food, and I didn't eat one single fun thing at the camping
No
site.
stores. Yeah.
I was like, I'm not redoing this, is what
Right.
my attitude
Yeah.
was. It's too important. And so, but I was so proud. My husband's like, first of all, I can't believe you're going camping in a tent. And two, you're doing this while you're going camping. I said, I sure am.
You were determined, but I
I
mean,
was.
when you feel that bad, you will do anything to
You
get
really will.
better.
You really will.
I mean, I understand that firsthand over the last year of my life, living like a homeless person, trying to get away from mold.
I,
Sleeping
I have
outside
followed
with
your
the bear.
story.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was outside last week, sleeping outside, and there was a bear that came, 20
Oh,
feet away from me outside.
holy moly.
And then once it went on, I just went back to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, man. I am not a camper. I am a glamper.
Well, that's what
So,
we do here, but I was outside.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so it took a few weeks for the reflux and the heartburn to get better. What about your blood pressure? How long did that
Um,
improve about the same
it
time?
did. It did. So my blood pressure, they put me on, I have not had high blood pressure until I got pregnant. And I had preeclampsia with both of my children. And then it never really went away. Now I look back and I'm like, she said, you'll always be on blood pressure medicine. And I wanted to be like, oh, yeah, watch me.
Oh, yeah.
Watch me.
You are
And
spunky. You're my kind of patient, Jill.
I am spunky. Well, I advocate for myself. Like I said, I've been on a health journey for a really long time. And I've tried multiple things for the indigestion and heartburn, but eventually it will catch up to you. all this damage.
Yeah.
So yeah, blood pressure. And so, okay, I had pregnant and my blood pressure was not, it was running typically 140s, 150s over 90, 100. So not super crazy.
Right.
They did not like it being
This
that
is
high.
on the high, especially if you're
Yeah.
symptomatic with it too.
Yes.
You know?
And, I mean, I'm in my 40s. I mean, I had my kids when I was a little bit later in life. And so I said, okay, well, we had some problem with the blood pressure medicine. And I said, I don't like being on the ones that, like a statin, I guess I don't know what.
Yeah, those are for cholesterol low.
Not statin. It was,
ACE inhibitors, calcium channel blockers, beta blockers.
beta blocker. It was a beta blocker. I hated it because I work out and it
you
really,
can't get your heart rate up.
no, and it really interfered with my working out. And that is my mental sanity, is me working out. And I'm like, y'all gonna have to fix this. So then they put me on a water pill. Well, nobody likes to go to the bathroom every third.
Uh-oh. I can't hear you. It's okay. You can figure it out. Let's see here.
That's what really
There we go.
interfering with my life.
But
okay.
Okay.
My internet said low bandwidth. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened.
But
I haven't moved.
Yeah, your lips weren't matching your words. There
That's
was a little
weird.
bit of delay, but you're good now.
Okay, that's weird. It just said low bandwidth. Who knows? Internet is.
You
again,
never
it's
know what
not.
it's going to do. You just never
No.
know.
Silly.
I
No. Okay. So they put me on a water pill and I was like, I don't want to be on this for the rest of my life. And so that's what I had told I can't remember her name, the girl that I did my nutrition coach with you. I told her, I was like, my two things is I wanted to get off the water pill and I wanted to get off of the Prilosec. And so Prilosec was number one. And then we did water pill. And I probably up until December, see, I did this in June, July last summer. And I probably monitored my blood pressure all the way through January. I got off. I got off that water pill very slow. And what's crazy is that it pretty much remained. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It pretty much remained the same. From the minute I noticed it started changing during the total gut job and me getting off the blood pressure medicine, it never really fluctuated too much. And so, but I wasn't going to play around too, with that. And so when I said I wanted to get off that, it was probably October. I finally ended up being done. And then by December, I wanted to keep monitoring. Every once in a while now, I'll check it just randomly and it's still fine.
Awesome.
It's,
and your blood pressures are supposed to fluctuate during the
they
day.
are.
Depending on what you're doing, your pain level, excitement, emotional stuff. And I just don't freak out. I don't like 130s over 80s, even up 140 over. It just depends on the age and stuff too. Like I will tolerate higher blood pressures in different people, especially the older population. So that's been good. So we've got that. We're done with that, and good, because that's just like messing with your electrolytes so bad. And that can cause all kinds of problems too. Was there like a breakthrough moment that kind of stood out to you? Was it during this process? Was there like a lab result that came back, great, or was it just more of symptom improvement overall? What really that stood out to you as far as a big win?
It probably was symptoms. We never did any blood work, so it was probably symptoms. When I knew that when I found what I could eat and my body was like, I'm okay with that, I really stick with that. And so that was kind of my breakthrough moment. And some of the things I eat are very boring. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm really okay with that. Now, I will say it, some of the things that I could not eat right after, I can't eat now, and they do not bother me. But probably really the breakthrough moment was when I noticed the symptoms. When I would reintroduce something and my body would automatically react, and I'm like, oh my, okay. For example, I would eat garbage cheese, as I call it.
Yeah.
Not like, just the regular old Kraft cheese.
Yeah.
That's what I consider garbage, and
It
people laugh
is.
at me.
It
And
is hard.
it is. And my eyes would get so dry. I mean, to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, why is my eyes so dry? And it was the cheese. It was 100% the cheese. And I was like, that is the wildest thing to me. How your body will tell you if you'll listen. So I think that was probably a good breakthrough moment for me, a really cool moment, because if you listen to your body, it'll tell you, as long as it's
It
not
doesn't like
bogged down.
yeah, it doesn't like garbage cheese, and I'm
It
glad.
doesn't.
I mean, my
Yeah.
body tells me the same thing. I have different symptoms than you, but I am so glad my body tells me when
Mhm.
food is not good.
Yes.
If I
Yeah.
eat high quality food, I
Mm.
have no problems
Yep.
ever.
Yep.
But the minute that I slip and eat like something from a fast food or
Ugh.
or just like you
Yeah.
say, garbage cheeses or just garbage snacks, I it's instant bloating and it's other
Mhm.
symptoms, restless legs, it's weird joint pains, headaches,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, man, I'm glad I respond that way.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. What's wild is that what I know now. So when I was pregnant with my oldest, I had restless legs, and it was the most miserable
Isn't
thing.
it? Oh,
I'm convinced it is the most miserable thing on planet Earth. I mean, to the point where I couldn't sleep. I was pacing my
yes,
house.
you have to get up and walk around.
Yes, I thought I was going to go absolutely insane. Not to mention, I'm big, fat, and pregnant too, and I was miserable that. And then you add on restless legs, and my doctor, I mean, we did literally everything, and I'm now convinced it was food.
It was gut health. Yeah,
Yes.
mine was every time.
Yes.
And that's how
Because
I respond. That's my big, like,
yes.
oh, you ate something that your body didn't like.
And the doctors were just flabbergasted. Well, I don't know what it could be. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't know. And, but now, if I eat something that my body don't like, that is a symptom that will,
Yeah.
sometimes, and I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. I will do anything to get rid of that.
And I remember them putting me on the Parkinson's medications
Yeah.
for it, and those things made me so sick. Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, thank goodness I don't have to deal with that anymore unless
Yes.
I, make a mistake. Which happens,
Yeah.
We live in the real
Well,
world. It's
we
tough.
do. And it's hard because, if you travel,
Mhm.
that makes it really challenging. We went to Florida for summer vacation, and I was very grateful that we got a condo and there was
Good
Whole
cook.
Foods there.
Yeah.
I could cook, and I did. And I was like, I don't want to go and be miserable
Right.
on my trip.
No,
And
it's not
so,
worth
and I was,
it. Yeah.
no, I mean, I'll eat tuna fish out of a packet before I'm miserable. Okay. Plain
Yeah.
tuna fish
That's,
out of a packet.
but you haven't, it's not like you have to give up anything. What,
No,
what most people are having to give up is stuff you don't need to be eating in the first place.
correct. Yeah.
So, and that's why I always like to kind of tell people, it's like, if you do have a food sensitivity, it's probably not, it's usually one or two things. And often it's stuff that's probably not high quality. That's the
Uh-huh.
problem. It's a quality
Yeah.
issue.
And well, thankfully in Arkansas, we do have really good options here.
Yeah.
We've got farm stores. And luckily I have one like right around the corner from my house.
Yep.
And I'm fortunate enough that if I see something or if I'm like, hey, can you get this? She usually can.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'll trek down to Little Rock. I live in Greenbrier. So I'll trek to Little Rock to go to Whole Foods if I have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
It's okay if your diet gets, my diet, I'm looking at my diet. We're not boring.
No.
It's not boring at all.
No.
Luckily I'm married to a man who loves to cook, and he's great at it. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, because mine doesn't. He wants to just go eat out all the time. And I'm like, oh, I can't.
No.
My body will not.
No, and that's good. So what do you think the biggest thing you learned about your health through this process was?
I wish I had done it sooner. That's one big thing.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
Yeah. That really, you don't have to live in misery. You really don't. There are answers if you'll look in the right place, and you will really open your mind. I mean, it's really a mindset. The whole thing is really mindset.
And it's really a mindset change from the traditional conventional model of a pill for your ill, a pill surgery procedure.
Yes.
Changing that over to everything has a cause.
Yes.
Everything does. I don't care what your symptom is. It has a cause. And I can probably tell you with some certainty that it ain't your age or your genetics. Okay.
Oh, the genetic thing that drives me crazy. And I'm not even a doctor. So
yeah, I mean, yes, we all have predispositions to things, but it doesn't mean you're doomed to have that just because your parents did or your aunt and uncle, cousins, or whatever. It's really your environment that is definitely playing the bigger role every time.
Yep, I agree.
So what was there anything during this process and the program that surprised you?
Not really.
Okay.
No, not really. Not really surprised me. No.
Okay. Good. That's good. All right. You know what you were getting into, and you weren't surprised.
Oh yeah. I mean, I knew going in that it was going to be hard, but I was determined.
Was it really hard though?
It wasn't. Once you change your mindset, and once you kind of get the groove of okay, I'm gonna what can I do to make this easy on me and within the lifestyle that I am. Once I figured that out, it was fine. Yeah. I mean, we would still go out to eat, but I didn't eat at the restaurant. I brought my own food.
Yeah. Girl, I carry so much. I carry stuff in a bag. I have carried a loaf of gluten-free bread along with me,
and nobody has ever said anything. They may look at me funny. Yeah, I don't care.
So. Bring your own dressing, your own salad dressings,
I don't want to eat that garbage. I want to bring my own stuff.
Fortunately, all my friends know that, I have gotten a lot better though. As my gut health has improved, and I can just tolerate a lot of things now that I used to couldn't, Yeah. So it's actually gotten easier as I've nurtured my gut health, know.
I have noticed that as well. Over even now, I'm like, oh, I really shouldn't eat that, but let's test the waters. And it didn't affect me as much as I thought it would. Exactly. Now I will go back the next meal and eat what I'm supposed to.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to eat this like every day. Right. Absolutely.
But it didn't derail you. Yeah. That's so great because I mean, who wants to go out with dinner with your family and friends and not just be so rigid, Not that you just don't go crazy either. I don't do that either. But I don't at all. I don't beat myself up if I have a little bit of dessert or something that might have some non-organic, non-GMO gluten in it, I just make sure I don't do that again for a while,
Right. I mean, a few bites of, a chocolate cake at the Chili's, ain't going to make or break me. So
it's great. And I'm so glad you're at that point too, where you can,
me too,
much more freedom in your diet. What do you think makes this like program different from other did you ever even try any other programs? Or is it
Um,
just
Not really programs. I mean, of course, I did the Whole30 diet. I've done diets,
okay,
as you
done
could
whole
say.
30. Okay.
I've done those. I have actually done a sugar. Mark Hyman. I read a
Yep.
lot of his books, and I did a sugar detox. That was years ago. That was really sucky, but it is what it is. So, because that diet was pretty bland.
Yeah.
But as far as other systems, no, but changing my diets and trying things, yes.
Yeah.
What this was different was it wasn't just eating healthy. I was repairing what was the damage that was already done. And it was so obvious once my gut was healed per se. It was adding things back in. It was so clear to me, so clear, what I couldn't eat and what I can't eat. And there are certain things that I still haven't even tried. One, it's like, I don't really miss it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I'm not really want it. And two, I was like, was I really eating that just because I liked it, or was it just a convenient thing? Like peanut butter. I used to eat peanut butter like crazy. I don't even touch it anymore. I don't miss it. I just don't.
Does it give you
Um,
problems when you eat it?
it did give me a little bit of heartburn. But it's like, I don't really miss it.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, so I think that's been the biggest is just learning what my body will tolerate.
Yeah.
So, and that has changed from right after I did and reintroduced foods. Like I said, eggs was a big one. They gave me a headache, especially if I did not eat farm fresh eggs.
Yep.
They would give me a headache.
Same here.
And so I backed off, and I will only eat farm fresh eggs. Now I won't eat anything else if I eat an egg, and I can eat them every day now and then. They do not
Oh,
bother me.
that's awesome. Yeah.
So,
Same thing
which is
happened to
good.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, which is crazy because I was like, I really like eggs. That was one thing. And cottage cheese was my other thing. I love cottage cheese. And the fact that I cannot find lactose free cottage cheese anymore really irritates me. Whole Foods used to carry it, but they don't
Oh
anymore.
man. I love cottage cheese too.
I loved cottage cheese, and Good Culture don't make it anymore. When I found out that they made a lactose free, I was just,
I never
and then
knew they did that.
they did. And then right after they took it off the market, I was like, why would you do that?
And
But that is one thing
that's a
I
great
miss.
brand too.
It is a
good.
really good brand.
Yeah.
So I've not really tried eating regular cottage cheese, but yeah, eggs and cheese was a huge thing for me. I'm not a big milk drinker. I never have been.
Yeah.
So, as far as milk,
Yeah.
that's not something, but yeah, those two things were my biggest. And I can eat some gluten and kind of get away with not getting bloated. Depends on what the gluten is and what I eat it in.
Right.
But the cheese and the eggs was huge for me. So
You can eat eggs now. That's
I
awesome.
can,
Me
and
too.
I'm very
Me
excited.
too. And I'm so happy about that.
Yeah.
Uh, so what I think you might have mentioned this a little bit, but were there any habits or strategies you that you have continued using that you picked up during the program?
Yes. So if I eat something that that my body does not like, at a restaurant or whatever, I will go back to eating some of the things that I ate when I was on the total gut job, until my body will calm down.
Now, yeah.
And so I will revert back to some of my tried and true recipes, things that I know that my body will tolerate. And so I will go back to eating that for, a while. Um,
Did you notice like how stress,
yes.
maybe over exercising or not enough sleep would also impact your
Mhm.
symptoms and digestion and
Yes.
yeah.
Stress is a big one that will flare up my indigestion pretty quick. If I get really worked up, I started mental health therapy 2 years ago. And I still am in counseling
Yeah.
and therapy. I had a lot of trauma as a kid, and I finally decided, after many years of it and being untreated, it's probably time.
Yeah.
And so and it really didn't rear its ugly head until I had kids, and then it was definitely time. And so when I started doing that. That was totally, obviously, before the total cut health job. So I had already started working on my mental health, prioritizing sleep. That's a big one, right there is sleep. And really drinking water, making sure that I get my water intake. So one thing that was really hard for me, and I know I'm getting off track, but working out. I was on depression medicine, anxiety medicine, all the things.
Oh, bless your heart.
And I had gotten off of them when I got pregnant, and I was just bound and determined not to be put back on those. And so that's when I started with my hardcore HIIT workouts. And I joke and I'm like, I work out so I don't go to jail. And so
That's so interesting.
I'm like, I work out because I got sort of, and so it's a joke, at the gym. But it's more like, this is my mental health therapy, and I'm spicy. So everybody, they know me and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right up your alley. Not that I've ever been to jail, by the way, but, but I joke, that this is my mental health therapy. So that was also another big challenge for me, was slowing down. Doing this was working out. What I noticed during this whole thing and cutting out all of the cardio is I would still do my classes, but I didn't do cardio. I lifted. And in all of that, I got these really massive muscles. And everybody's like, dang, where did that come from? And I'm like, I just started lifting when I didn't do cardio. And but it was, and now I'm like, I don't want to do cardio anymore. We keep building my muscles. But so that was probably a challenge for me, was slowing down. I'm a very fast-paced person. We're go, 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 go. So
Yeah.
that was probably a hard. But I noticed with the stress, if my kids start getting me worked up, and I'm just like, okay, I need to, I'm very aware of me out.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, 100% stress was a big one for me. Um, and slowing down. Those two things were probably the most noticeable. Like I said, I'd already taken on sleep because my therapist really, really pounded that into my head. You've got to get some sleep.
Good for
Um,
her. I'm so glad she did that.
and so that was, and I prioritize my kids' sleep. So it's not just me. I mean, I have pride towards them, so it makes them happier people.
Yeah.
It makes me a happier mama. So there's just it's been a lot in the last couple of years that I have just really flipped. Am I, perfect at it? No, but
But
boy, am
is.
I a lot further along than I was 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
But I've learned a lot about my body, a lot, and it's still evolving. I
Yeah.
mean, it still changes. Um, and it's actually pretty cool. I'm not a big science nerd, but it's a pretty cool that I can, you listen to your
Yeah.
body, and it'll tell you.
I know. I'm a lot like you. Just I was always on the go. Had to have a
Mhm.
project. I could
Yeah.
get so much done in a day. As an athlete, always working out, and that had to change because my health
Mhm.
would not allow me to do it
Yeah.
anymore. So I'm just now getting back to a place where I'm like can finally start to work out again. And I'm so looking
Yeah.
forward to it. But I know now it's like, Amy, you don't have to push
Yeah.
yourself like you did,
Yeah.
and when you do, it just kind of backfires on you. So
It does.
let's not do that
Mhm.
this next go around, and I'm fine with it. And it's actually been just a relief too. Like you just get wiser, you
You
live
do.
long enough, you just get
You
some
do.
wisdom.
And I tell the young girls at the gym, and I'm like, okay, y'all, it's okay to take a rest day. It's okay to not go, hardcore because luckily I've been going to this gym for a very long time. So they know, and they know because they're classes.
Yeah.
So I'll go, but I need that atmosphere to get me going.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will modify if we're doing some pretty hardcore cardio and I'm just not, my
Not
body's like,
feeling
no,
it.
man,
Yeah.
I just don't.
Walk
I'll listen
away. And
to
that's
the beat.
okay. That's
Yeah.
called
Oh, yeah.
listening to your body.
Yep. Yep.
Because if you keep ignoring your body,
Hmm.
you're gonna it's not gonna turn out well for you.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That's what I try to reinforce to the youngins as well.
I, listen,
But
I know.
I know how I was when they're age, so
I know.
so
I know. It's like,
hard headed.
well, I wasn't going to listen to the older people when I was a kid. They ain't going to
I
listen to me. And
know,
that's fine.
I
But
know. Maybe one of them will at some point.
maybe.
What would you say to someone who is considering the total gut job but maybe still on the fence?
uh do it, don't wait.
Okay.
It will literally change your life, literally, in so many ways.
Like so many people say that it's like it
Yeah.
has changed my life, and
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
um, I believe it. I've been there. What would are there things that people notice about you now that they did, since you've gone through this process?
um if they do, they don't really say much anymore. They used to say, um, I mean, I'm still spicy, so that really hadn't changed much.
Yeah.
But probably the people at the gym have noticed that I modify quite a bit. Of course, they've all noticed, the change in my body, the physical change of my body. Um, I look strong and I feel confident in myself. So I probably hold myself differently.
Yeah.
Um, my husband he's like, he's so funny. He says, you eat bougie. He calls me bougie. And I'm like, I mean, it's fine, whatever. I don't really care. Because, there's certain things that like I said, I'm going to eat and I will drive an hour to go get it.
It's not bougie though. It's
No.
eating for me. I think it's normal. It's healthy.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's sad that we can't just go to our regular grocery store and get the healthy stuff anymore.
No,
It's sad.
the grocery stores are sad.
They are.
It's pitiful. I go through there and I'm just like, there are so few things that I can get in like Kroger or City Market, and I feel like I'm having to shop at three different like natural
Yes.
grocers, Whole Foods, Kroger,
Yep.
and then throw in a farmer's market here or there and whatever. It's
Mhm.
I don't see that changing anytime soon. You just have to do what you have to do.
You do. I complain a lot that I have to go to 4 or 5 different places to get what I need for the
Yeah.
week. But again,
It's worth it
I'm like I said,
though. It's
it is so worth it.
because you feel so much better. I mean, if you don't have your
Yeah.
health, what do you have? I mean, that is so
You have
important.
nothing.
Your health is
Yes, you have.
everything.
Yes, yes. Yep. And I've got young kids. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to be able to maneuver with them and do things with them. Like I don't want to be miserable doing it either. I mean, I got a 6 and 9-year-old. So
You gotta be with it.
yeah, I gotta be on top of my game.
Oh my goodness. Let me see here. I think I might. What? So, if you could like describe your experience in one sentence, that might be difficult. What would that sentence be, or a couple of words?
I know it sounds cliche, but life changing. Um, life changing. Um, I, again, cliche, but I feel like I have my life back. Um, I'm just so in tune with myself that it's like a it's like an aha moment almost,
Yeah.
but I mean, a long aha moment because again, our bodies are, changing, but I just,
There's a lot of confusion. I think it removes a lot of confusion.
it does. Yes.
Life becomes
No.
much simpler, easier to understand, easier
Yeah.
to navigate. I think things become less frustrating.
Hmm.
You don't, the fear is removed a lot of times, just with this
Yep.
whole mindset and this whole, the functional medicine approach with when everything has a cause, you
Hmm.
know, don't freak out. It's
Yeah.
going to be, no matter what your doctors may say, there's something causing it. And
Yep.
it's usually not difficult to find,
Yes.
you know.
And they
And a
want
lot
to
of
make
times
it
it just comes down to like
complicated.
the foundational principles that we teach in the total gut
Yeah.
job. That
Yep.
solves so many people's problems.
Yes.
And it's like these things are within your control. You have
Yeah.
control over all of these things. You don't need a doctor. You don't need a
No,
surgeon. You
I
don't
know.
need a spiritual guru mentor. These things are not that, spiritual mentors aren't good. I have one myself, thank goodness.
Right.
But yeah, it's not so much of what people experience as far as symptoms and health issues. So much of it is in your
Yeah.
control.
It's not as complicated as you may think it is. It's actually pretty simple if you allow yourself to just embrace it.
Yeah.
But like a doctor, I mean, there's a time and a place
Yes.
for regular medicine, and then there's a time and a place for functional medicine, and
The original doctors were functional medicine doctors.
they were, but they're not anymore. They're
Yeah.
controlled by our insurance companies, and
And and they're taught to it's they're taught to treat the symptom.
yeah,
So even though you may have a wonderful doctor,
yeah,
they're probably not going to have the tools to help you because they weren't taught the tools.
right.
And that's sad. And I
It
can say
is,
I know this because I was taught that way.
yeah,
And now I do it this way. And
yeah.
this way is far better, you know?
My PCP. So I go once a year to do blood work and, just an annual yearly visit. Um, and this last time, I was interested to see what she would say when I said, well, I did the total gut job with Dr. Amy Beard and I got off this and this. And I was interested, like I said, to see. She didn't really say much. And she was like, well, if your blood pressure starts going back up, let me know. And I was like, fantastic. Because there wasn't really much she was going to say that was going to change my mind
Yeah.
about pretty much anything. And I think she knows that. But when I went in, I was like, oh, I wonder what she's going to say when I say I ain't taking my blood pressure medicine no more.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, what can they say? It's
yeah.
hey, it's always interesting to get the doctor's feedback because I get a lot of referrals from physicians now. A lot of doctors are like, hey, keep doing what you're doing. I hope one
Yeah.
day I can have the time to learn more, and whatever. And
Yeah.
there's that supportive side, and then there's others that are just like,
Ah,
and I don't get it. It's like
I
if
don't
you
either.
if you knew of someone who's able to help people get off pills and they're not having these problems anymore, wouldn't you want to know what they're doing?
Yeah,
'Cause
I would.
I'm not over here practicing witchcraft. It's
Yeah.
really simple stuff, but it's what they teach us in medical school, that anything natural or anything different to the pill for an ill strategy is quackery and
Yeah.
it should be ignored and mocked and all that. And that's sad. But anyway,
Yeah.
I digress.
I know.
Well, Jim,
Oh, I know.
I'm so glad that the total gut job helped you and that you feel like it really had such an impact on your life. That's why we do what we do.
And
And
I'm very appreciative that people like you exist and are that have the knowledge that is in arm's reach. And if you'll just take it on, I mean, I said we were financially able to do it, but I'm like, your insurance ain't doing much for you anyways, just get rid of it. But anyways, I digress.
I know. Yeah. Okay. That's a whole other story. Yeah. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, Jill, thank you again for sitting down with me and talking about this. And if there's anything that we can do for you, you know how to get in touch with us.
I don't take nothing that a doctor don't prescribe. I just take Paxil, Xanax, Zoloft, Flomax, morphine, Valtrex, Flonase,